from over yonder.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be able to start doing birth certificate, print only.
Oh,
So if somebody needs a birth certificate,
I need my social security card. I need that to come back.
So we'd go to my
I applied
grandparents
for
every year in
Wiggles on
Oklahoma.
pineapple needles because she's a minor, and I lost hers.
There, you know, you don't say go down here, turn right.
Yeah.
Go down here,
Go
turn
down
s-
yonder.
Go down yonder, turn south. Left
Up a
is
tree.
pole.
Yeah.
I have 5 originals.
It's like, okay, which way is that?
Wait, and when I ordered them, I ordered 5 originals because I was like, mm-mm. Mm-mm.
not
And,
without them.
yeah.
So the big tanker
And I
truck
just
over
had to
by
go find her
coffee
mom
urns,
because I needed some
Got a big, big,
information
long
for
tank on it?
kindergarten.
has that been there all that time?
Well, that thing's
It's been
huge.
like a month or so.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
that big white tank.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And it's
I
gonna
had,
be
like,
there
original
for
Caroline, everything.
Probably
Brooklyn,
another
I can't
month.
find her social security card to save my life.
Wow.
And I really need it.
What's that thing
get
they
the
got on the end, that solar deal?
That's cameras,
Oh, okay.
and then
I thought
they're
we get
paying
this
us
yearly. We get this quarterly?
$200 a day for the car to sit there, and then they pay
You can do it two ways. You can try to get an appointment, because I went over there
$5
before it's first come, first served, so I drove over to be the
$5
very
an
first
hour.
appointment of the day.
Arizona.
at night from 6 to 6 or whatever it is, for an officer, and then they also pay the officer
First person in the parking
separate
lot.
from paying us.
And you still with her.
Wow.
By the time
That,
Having to,
Just so you know, we're live.
oh, and then they're having to do a couple of,
15th,
permits and stuff from the
Yeah.
tribe, because that is tribal property right there.
SSI and all that.
yes.
I'd hate to try to drive that thing down the road.
Wow.
I couldn't even imagine
No, because you
Just
how to,
to
yeah,
turn a corner would be,
it's crazy.
that's how they've done it for
Yeah, I need to do it. I have to do it. I have no clue where her original is.
and they won't let you request a copy online.
No, I tried. I did that whole thing, and I thought I like got to like page 15, and it was like, "Thank you. Come into our office."
Don't they come to the hospital now?
They used to. I heard they don't anymore. Philip House Regional.
You can't go quiet. Well, I think you could. but I'm
All right, it's 5:30. We will call this work session for the Town of Parker Common Council. Please silence or mute your electronic devices. Roll call the council.
Mayor Hartless.
Here,
Vice Mayor Lucas.
Here.
Councilmember De Leon, absent. Councilmember Daniels.
Present.
Councilmember Shantz.
Present.
Councilmember Waddell.
Here.
Councilmember Hooper.
present.
all right, we'll adjourn this special budget work session. I'm sorry, we'll call to order this work session. Nora Diackley.
Good evening. There we go. So this is kind of just a quick overview of what we're looking at as far as budget things go. We haven't, dialed in everything, but we do want your kind of input tonight. Our 2000, you can see up here, our 2023, 2024, which is this year's budget, is about, is 14 million. We're gonna probably come in under budget a little bit this year. I'm gonna predict, we won't know exactly until all of the projects are completed. We're still working on that. So the key changes we put in this budget this year would be for an additional officer, which Chief has asked for, up to a step 7. If he chooses to go put another one through the academy, it would be less, but up to a step 7. the accreditation manager / victim advocate, that position is grant funded right now. We would like to continue that.
When does the grant end on that, Mike?
We would like to continue that position. She's done a lot, and there's going to be a lot of things to manage after the grant ends to keep us into compliance. And we've also it's kind of filtered down through everything that if we don't keep our accreditation up to par, it could in fact affect our funding on the federal level, some of the grants and things. Other than that, as far as the police department goes, they're not really asking for anything else. I mean, obviously, they're getting a brand-new building this year. They've gotten some new vehicles this year, so that's really not gonna be, too much. The community center / senior center, she is asking for the dishwasher to go full-time on that, to help with being a prep cook, and also be able to fill in when those cooks one is absent or those things. Here in Town Hall, we're asking that our part-time assistant go full-time in July. We have found that she's done a wonderful job kind of getting all of our stuff organized and getting us out of the weeds. And we have a long way to go with that. She's also it's been very helpful to have her. She's able to go over to the library when needed to fill in for lunches or whatever. She's able to go up to the front and take over that area as well if somebody is out or if somebody needs to go to lunch. So it's more of just a roving kind of position
Who is it?
versus
Who is it?
Darcy. More than just what she was actually hired for was to help the clerk and myself. It's turned into a much better situation. This does include a 3% cost of living adjustment and a 3% merit, if that's what you choose to do. We can go higher, we can go lower on that, but we kind of, right now it's like at a 4% nationally. We think a 3% is kind of a good, solid for us. So all of our expenditures, with inflation and stuff, we did a small increase in those plus hard costs. So there is a little bit of fluff in that 15 million. Because as we all know, we get these bids for a dollar amount, and then by the time we actually get to the project, it's much higher. Something that we're really proud of and really thankful for this year, as far as our insurance goes, there was no increase in that. However, we are able to, and I really want to say a huge thank you to Megan. She really pulled this off with our insurance group and has been able to get us an HDHP with a HSA, which that is a high deductible insurance program that the HSA is similar to a debit card. So as the town, we can put onto that the difference in what we would be paying for our regular insurance. It actually costs the town less money. We feel like it's a much better program to offer our employees. So now they have the two. Some of our employees will not be able to use that program. They go to the doctor too much. They, have different issues, but that high deductible is really good for some of them. And it costs the town less and costs our employees less. One of the biggest things that we probably need to talk about right now, we have, I just got, this week, our bed tax in. Very, very happy to say that it's higher this year than it has been in many years. So, which tells me that our TPT taxes is going to be higher this coming year. We do not have any numbers in from the state yet as to what their budget is even going to look like. They haven't even started it.
How much longer do we have with the Green Group on that reduction?
One more year.
One more year, okay.
Nice. And that bed tax, it's still only 3/4 of the year, right? You haven't got the entire amount.
That is correct. And we're already at or above what we did for the entire year last year. So,
Good.
yes. I say Al's doing a very good job in collecting not only our bed tax, but some of our TPT that has been outstanding for quite some time. Letters have, like he says, the town of Parker is a little, some of our businesses are a little slow, but they are getting their taxes in. He has been able to collect some back taxes as well, so that's been quite helpful, especially with our contractors. They've, especially the out-of-town ones, just kind of thought they didn't need to pay where that stuff was being delivered, and he's been able to get in there and get that accomplished for us. So things are looking really well. I know that we've had a couple of questions on at least one of the positions that are open right now. We have 3. We have the finance director position is open, and the maintenance worker position is open. And then we are sad to say that we did have that Freddie is going to be retiring. He did turn in his retirement stuff.
Soon, right?
He's given us a couple of months, which is great. I think 3 months, I believe he's given us, so that we can bring somebody on board and he can kind of train them. That position starts out at 43, a little over 43, and goes up to 73. We did budget for what Freddie is making now, just so that keeps in, so there, it keeps us in a good position. With that, the other kind of thing that we did up a little bit this year that you guys may want to talk about, amongst yourself and with me, is the EDC chamber and tourism. Tourism has asked, and that's the pamphlets that they put out, has asked for a little bit of an increase to $3,000. I think they go above and beyond that group.
The EDC is now no longer, they're looking for somebody? or-
They are looking for somebody. I believe they were going to be doing some interviews here pretty soon. They had 2, I believe,
Pretty solid candidates.
Really?
yeah, 2 really good
Local.
candidates, I believe. Bless Casey's heart, he did a really good job restoring that and getting that really back on its feet. And I can't say enough good things about him. He worked really closely with me, I know, as far as getting things in Parker South and getting some people interested and getting some people interested here in town. So he set that up for a really good transition. Really, really happy with him.
So what did we give them? Was it 24 last year?
We gave them 20 last
Or I
year.
feel like we only paid them half or something, was
We
it?
paid half and then we'll do half again.
Okay,
We did it in 2 payments.
so it was 20,000,
Yes,
and the chamber was
3,
30.
30.
For the whole year,
For the
but we
whole
pay
year.
quarterly.
Yes, ma'am.
And that comes right out of the bid tax.
And all of that comes out of bed tax.
I thought it was 48.
Isn't the chamber, you have 48?
Go to 48 last
We
year?
just signed, I just signed a check for
did.
12,000,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and 3,000 for the
I
passport.
think it's,
I apologize.
well, no, I think it's chamber tourism, and when you say the other tourism, that's for the
The
passport.
passport, correct.
That's the regional tourism with
Yes.
Quartzsite. And then you have the Parker Chamber /
Slash
tourism.
court tourism, yeah.
So we're about 71 with the whole deal.
Everybody in TAC. And I
And our
do
bed
apologize. Megan was going to be here, set with all of these numbers and go over individual line items. She had an emergency in the family about 10 minutes ago and had to run. So I,
So do you know how much our bed tax is?
right now, we are at about $267,000
What?
this year.
Are you serious?
I think
Still
they've done a
have
good job.
3 months to go?
We still have 3 months to go.
That's incredible.
Absolutely.
That's like double.
Yes, that's what
Holy
I'm
moly.
saying. This gentleman has paid for himself over and over
Well,
again.
the bed tax, so people weren't paying it?
People weren't paying.
Because I know,
We
I know
also-
the hotels that were paying it.
So with this bed tax, you have to understand that this is not just your hotels, but this is people renting out their houses.
Airbnbs. I know there's not a
Airbnbs,
lot in town,
yes.
but there's a couple.
And you'll see, if you look at the report, you see Airbnbs and who's, how many of them are that. And then the storage units that we get the little 2% on, that's in here as well. So in the past, we haven't been collecting from those, and especially the apartments. Nobody's ever really pushed that. So that's why it's a little higher.
Plus, we still have Tube Float coming, which is gonna, every room in
Every
town
room in
for
town will
3
be full.
days, it'll be booked up. I'm gonna say benefit of the race, also the races also.
Yeah, we should hit around 350.
I would think.
Well, with that said, I would support an increase in these numbers. I think the passport's fine, that 3,000, but, and I only bring it up because now that I know there's more money, that the chamber's in a bit of a bind this year. They're gonna be having to move and, they're gonna be looking for extra support for that. So I'm wondering if we want to put aside a chunk of this for that, just a one-time, one-year thing. I don't know what you guys think.
Well, we can set it aside to see what they need and see if we can do it. But I don't know how you'd have to write it up for it to come out of bed tax for that.
Christina will tell us.
Yeah, I mean, you're supporting
I'm
the
gonna
chamber
say,
like
it's
we do
the,
anyway.
it's the chamber, so it wouldn't, it could come out of bed tax without
Okay.
a doubt.
We could even just do a one-year agreement, not say
Absolutely.
this fund
Necessary.
and that fund, just
Right.
here's your money for the year. We've made it extra because we know there's gonna be a challenge coming real soon in the next few months. They're
Well-
gonna have to move.
Probably what we could do is just make their line item a very huge amount.
And then as
then
we,
stay with this
Mhm.
as far as paying them on that. And then if we can help them on their move, then we can take it out.
Anything big anyway.
Yeah, because if it's on a line item, then we got it made.
right. Let me,
So what amount would you consider with that said?
Well, I wouldn't have a problem putting 200.
What kind of help are you
Plus
thinking
this.
that they're gonna need?
Well, they have to acquire property and then they have to renovate. There's no building in this town ready. There's a couple of prospects they have, but they're gonna require extensive renovation. You're way more generous than I was thinking, although I'm okay with that.
Well, I was saying 2 plus this.
Right.
And the thing of it is, if we're not comfortable with it at that time, then we can say no.
But at least we budgeted for it.
Yeah, because if it's not budgeted, then
But on that note, have you incorporated this money into the other budget? The town budget in
Yes,
general?
The town budget, so we went, with chamber, we went with what we gave them last year.
Right.
We upped the, we stayed the same with the EDC because they haven't come to us with anything as of yet. Now we can't, if they do come and they do want a little more, we can put that in the line item for you guys to look at. And then the passport, they did come and ask for 3,000.
No, I'm saying of this 267, which will likely be over 300, have you moved that into your general budget?
We put in this exact amount, so we did not budget for, we did not put in any extra. So this last quarter, we did not include in our budget as of yet. We were waiting a little closer to doing the, well, not the final budget, but our tentative budget,
but bed tax is pretty much all we can use it for, correct?
correct.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a lot like the IDA funds in a sense. It's for economic development,
Correct.
basically was the original intent of the bed tax, which I think we've done a good job in the last few years. And there was a time when I was at the chamber where I said, you know, give me all that money. If it's a bad year, I'll live with it. If it's a great year, I'll live with it. This is a substantial amount of money. And I'm okay with banking a lot of this money for economic development, like in Parker South project or something, but
Or right in the middle of Parker.
yeah, and just because we say 200 doesn't mean we have to give it to them.
yeah. Well,
You know, it's just like any other line item. If you have 5 million, a line item for grants, and you get 6, you're out of luck.
I'd be comfortable with 100. And that to me is very, my original thought was like 50, but
I'm okay with
I
50.
know they need a lot of money and the
Very
IDA
okay
is
with
gonna
50.
do what we can to
Okay,
help too, but we have a lot of other requests that, you know, and some people are saying, you know, this year, let's just give one big chunk and not help all those others. But there's a lot of others, so,
So
I'm okay
let's-
with it at 100. But
So
Okay.
let's look at, we'll put in the 100 and see what that looks like, and then if
Okay.
we need to go less than that, we can revisit this again.
you're
I'd
here
like to
just in
kinda
time.
consider some of
But
the
then if
other
we need to go more,
money.
if we need to go more, Nora, we can still do it, right?
As long as we do it prior to, yes. So
Oh,
at
I
our
see what
next-
you're saying.
And
If we budget 50 and then we decide later to do 60, we can't.
We can't.
That's why
Right.
you can budget it, but that doesn't mean we're gonna spend it or allocate it.
That's why I said 2, so
Well, and that other amount is what,
we're looking at a total of
70
350,
something? Oh, and
71.
we know this is gonna be more than
Yeah.
267, so.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, we're not voting on that, this is a
No.
work session,
This
but
is just to tell me kind of what you guys are
if
looking
you guys
for.
are comfortable,
I'd like to at least discuss some of the other potential options, you know, for using that.
Other
for-
ways we could
for
utilize that
specifically
money.
For economic development, I'm not really savvy on what the limitations are for the bed tax, but when I hear economic development, like that kind of
What all can it
bars
be
a light
used
bulb a
for?
little bit, you know, when,
Yeah.
so 267 coming in this year, but there wasn't a zero balance in that account, was there, from
No.
last year?
No, so, we rolled over what was in there.
Which was roughly,
I couldn't tell you at this moment, to be honest with you.
But the amount you're setting is
but-
what we've already brought in this year, and we still have 3 months.
yeah, and then I'm thinking last year, if we gave 48 to the chamber, tourism, 20 to EDC, and 3,000 to the passport, that we probably still had 40 or 50, if not more, remaining in that account.
Now, you have to, so we have, so community developments, one of their salaries, which was mine, a portion of my salary
right.
came out of,
All right,
Oh, really?
yeah.
So with this money, could we possibly visit giving Taylor a salary increase, or are we not able to do that because we're not part of the chamber?
No,
Yeah, no, it's,
Give them the money and they can do it.
correct. It has to, this money has to be spent on something that benefits the town.
So like with
Economically.
like a rejuvenation
Economically.
project or something on like Arizona Ave or,
No, so I'll use the swimming pool as an example because that's the first thing that everybody says, oh, you've got all this extra money, let's build a pool.
I'm not saying that.
I couldn't
I am.
I couldn't use that money because it's not benefiting and bringing people to our town. It
doesn't
would
help the
benef-
economy.
Right, it benefits our town
Right.
people, but it doesn't bring in, and that's what your bed tax is for, is to help bring in
Stimulate economic development.
that economic development.
One of the things that I've would like to see improve at some point in town is the foot traffic for all the little small businesses. Because right now I know, to like the little ice cream shop, for example. I mean, bless their heart, I love the place, but I have a hard time imagining them surviving, 5 years based
The
off
question
of.
is, what would you do to increase that foot traffic?
And,
the real
I mean, that's a discussion. I mean I think that we should have. But like I've always talked about like a first Friday or last Friday or whatever they call it, or an event that we have vendors that pop up all over the place. They're looking for opportunities to sell their stuff or showcase their art or something. And then you have families like me and my family that look every weekend or every time we have free time for something to do in this town. We'll go up to La Paz County Park to go to the swap meet or something, but that's not in the town of Parker. Hot rod shows up La Paz County Park. All these things that could happen and draw people right into the town of Parker, which would, these little businesses could stay open during that time. They would have a boatload of additional foot traffic, and
It's
if
just
they could
different.
have a weekend where they
talk
were
to
like,
Melissa.
It's just, when you talk about
Yeah.
like, what did you say at the county park? Something they had?
swap meet.
Okay. A swap meet you could do probably downtown, but like the things, I think the other big events we're talking about, like the Volkswagen Jam and that kind of stuff, there's a reason they're in the park, right? There's shade trees and grass and water,
And camping.
camping.
I just think if we can use this money to benefit the town of Parker, we should revisit this in benefiting the town of Parker. That's a lot of money that we could use to
Right, and we
benefit the
host
town.
off-road races here several times a year, and foot traffic, that's pretty much the only increase in foot traffic that we see. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty limited scope of people that participate in that,
Talk to your chamber director about it.
So if we had, and based on my math, if we brought in 350,000 for the bed tax, and we said we wanted to do a set aside or a contingency for the chamber for their new, location or whatever, and then we wanted to also give those donations, those partner donations that we do, that might come to around 180,000, and that would still leave, 150 to 170,000 we could earmark and say, possible economic development project.
Well, isn't somebody getting partially paid out of that now?
Yes,
Is it our economic development or community development guy? So even if you knocked, say, 50 off of that, you're still talking about 120, over 100,000. If we could earmark that and say for an unspecified or, a future economic development project, that way we'd have it in the budget, is that?
we can. I'll have to figure out how to,
I just want to explore this more with Dusty, and if we come up with something like that, because that would be a thing that would draw more people, so that would fit the parameters of that spending.
But you want to be careful not to spend it all and get stuck.
It'd have to
You
be
want a
on
little
like
bit.
infrastructure or ways to make these.
it can't be on
Spend it on
infrastructure.
infrastructure.
No, it doesn't have to be that, because the chamber, Well, the chamber needs money for infrastructure at some point, but for a building.
Yeah, but
But
it's-
we've donated
not
this
how
money over the
right.
years because of what they do in bringing
Yes.
people to our area.
And there's still carry forward from last year. I mean, and I want to say there was like 125. It was.
So what's an example of how it's been spent previously, other than salaries?
Just chamber,
Chamber,
tourism,
tourism.
passport.
And salary.
Right. You want to say something?
I need to come up here?
Just to add, so the funding that we get from you guys helps us do the trade shows that we've done this year, the Arizona Game and Fish Expo, and some of the other tourism that gets here as well. And then there was a question earlier about like the Volkswagen show. They did it here in town. They love the park. The issue they were having is Volkswagen people camp in their car. So people weren't willing to pack up their car and drive into town at the park. So that's why they ended up having it at La Paz County Park, because people just stayed there.
I don't even, we
They-
weren't even really talking about the park. We were talking about downtown.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
just in general,
Yeah.
you know, whether
Yeah.
it was the Volkswagen thing or,
Hmm.
you know, a hot rod show or
Something to
or
bring people
something
down.
that could increase foot traffic.
But
along
honestly,
these little
this,
business.
the bed tax traditionally, and it goes back 30, 40 years. Maybe not that long. I'm aging Lisa Kruger, but, because Lisa was the one that I think was the one that got this going between her and Chuck Baker. And the intent was the chamber brings people and fills up the hotel rooms. They pay that bed tax, and then we use that money to fund the chamber, and it's a good cycle. It's worked over the years for the most part.
Correct. And like
Didn't we
for,
bump up for their trips? Didn't we give them a little, yeah,
I think we did,
Yes.
yeah.
yeah.
this year you guys helped with the promos and the printing cost. So, previous years, I think you helped with a hotel stay. I think we got a per diem off of previous years. Don't quote me on that, though.
Okay,
Pretty
well,
sure
about-
the per diem that
about
we
out of
got.
time, I have one question for Nora. You said you think we're gonna come in under budget. Do you have any estimate at all?
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be about the same,
Okay,
I think, with our capital projects this year.
Revenue versus expenditures.
so you don't think it's gonna be like more than 100,000 or anything? Okay.
We're not voting right now, right?
No.
No, no,
Just
ma'am.
In
discussion.
fact, we're gonna have more.
I
budget.
would like to
discussion.
kind of just talk to you at some point about like what would you do with $100,000? Because that's what I'm. If it can't be on infrastructure, if it's got to be on like event stuff, you know, or
But no, he's
Well, it
saying
can
that
be on
to help
infrastructure
them
For them,
For the chamber, it can.
they can use it for that.
have questions about,
Because
because
it's just
can't,
us giving them money and they're spending it how they want.
How they,
But
'Cause
as far
ev-
as us doing infrastructure to bring in people, we can't.
I'm not sure about that.
like if it was painting parking and redoing curb fascia and
That's
little
perf.
things like that, you know,
That'd be pretty
That's
touchy.
public works.
yeah,
We already get money for that.
right? And I'm just now
That's more a beautification maybe, but if
For
you
the
just
intent of-
extrapolate on that beautification, yeah.
Right.
With the intent of bringing more people.
or
So,
making it safer
I
to bring a
agree
certain
with you that-
population or
yeah. I mean, and those are things that we can talk to Christina about to see how far I can stretch that. Because,
Yeah, because we've done things like this before and she says, no.
yeah, I'd like to see what we're actually allowed
that's a
to
big
spend this money
number.
on.
I mean,
Yeah, it's a chunk,
it's a good chunk.
but
of
it's a
change.
one-time chunk. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a very special situation. Obviously, you guys you're moving to a new location at some point.
Somewhere.
somewhere.
Found one yet?
So I'm not even talking about the chunk
We're
that would be allocated.
honestly
I'm
down to
talking
2
in general, you know,
locations.
that-
I have a meeting with my board on Tuesday to talk about the 2. I'm still trying to get quotes on what, like, construction and all that would be on everything. So that's the hangup right now, in all honesty. But yes, Dusty, anytime, because I would absolutely love to do that. I do try to do a lot of the stuff in town as well already. Obviously, 2 Float's not one of those. But most of everything I do other than that, with the exception of Taste of Parker and the 2 Float, we do try to do in town. But on that note, keep in mind, 2 Float is the #1 weekend of the whole year that brings tourism in.
It's not in
Far
town,
bypassing
but
all of those,
it
and it's
brings
not
a
in
ton of
town, but
money.
everyone benefits.
Right.
All the hotels are sold out, gas stations. Walmart and Safeway, but also the restaurants as well too. So that does benefit town,
And I've
even if it's not
noticed
being
that
held on
a
town.
lot of times when we're having an event, people are using Food City.
Which is good.
Yeah. Well, especially downtown, I was just telling Nora and Amy that we had a meeting with Placer, which will tell you how many people were in a square foot radius. And we did the February race. There was 5,200, it's more than 5,000, so I'll say more than 5,000 people in that area just for the downtown. But what's actually really interesting is it tells you where they came from and where they went to afterwards. And granted, there's some you wouldn't think of, like, what's the little barber shop next to Lily's? It was on there, but I think more or less people were parking there because there was no parking and walking over. But that had a percentage that was over there too. So that was pretty cool to see where people came from and where they went after they left the downtown. It tells you how long they were there for, and it's all by their phone tracking. So,
Parked right over here.
yeah.
Right.
So, but Food City was one of those on there too, not necessarily just because people park there, but I can tell you the
There's a
previous
lot of
year when
shopping.
we did not have the bar in Arizona and we only had the bar in the Joshua Street Mall, people were going to Food City to buy their alcohol. That's why we ended up asking for a second bar on the Joshuas or the Arizonas and not just the Joshuas. So, but yes, anytime. I know your schedule's
I know, I've been meaning to get with you forever now.
anytime.
All right, so we're gonna have more discussions
We will
before
have probably one more
Okay.
prior to the,
the finalization of the budget. And then I wanna
Budget.
speak with you too on the side.
so, yeah. And please, if you have any other ideas or comments, please either email me, come see me, whatever.
Because once you approve it, you can't change it.
Yeah,
Well, once we
that's
do,
why I had to make sure,
Yes.
Jerry.
once we do, this one coming, we can always go down, but we can't
Yeah.
go
Go
up.
up.
So,
All right. We'll adjourn this special budget work session, call the regular meeting to order. Roll call of council.
Mayor Hartless,
Here.
Vice Mayor Lucas,
Here.
Councilmember De Leon, absent, Councilmember Daniels.
Present.
Councilmember Shantz.
Present.
Councilmember Waddell,
Here,
Councilmember Hooper.
Present.
All right, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'll remain standing as Pastor Louis Marsh gives the invocation.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to be here today. We pray for your wisdom, and your guidance, and your insight as really important decisions are made for our community. We thank you, God, for our leaders, and we pray you will bless them with wisdom. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thanks, Louis. Okay. Our next one is call to the public. We don't have any. Okay. Chamber Director report, Melissa?
I'm back. Good evening. So I did want to say today, the majority of my day was spent driving around to different local businesses regarding CDL classes that are now going to be available in Parker. So with help of Casey from Economic Development, myself, and Mike Brazil, and the Crit Council, Embark, which is a driving school out of Phoenix, and they currently do one in Fort Mojave. They are now going to do classes here using the Crit Airport. So basically, it's a 3-week course. They do, once you get your permit, they do everything from the education part, the driving, and certify. So when you leave their class, you have your CDL license in hand. It does cost $58, I say, they insist it's $57.95, but $58. But with Arizona at Work, they have federal grants that help pay for it. So what we did today is we went around to the different businesses, the tow truck companies. We met with Public Works here at the town, Courtside Public Works, County Public Works, and some of the other different businesses just to let them know it's coming. Their first class they want to do is June, and they can do 4 students at a time each class. So their goal is to do one a month, but they can just keep rolling through them if they have enough interest. So just earlier when you were saying economic development, that's a great opportunity for people to get CDLs where they don't have to go away to, right now, currently, you either have to go to Phoenix to attend their schools or Yuma or the Kingman area, and you're gone for those 3 weeks. So it's nice to have that here. A lot of the employers are interested in sending their employees and still covering, like if they were working. So that's a huge benefit to people too, because it is a lot of money out of pocket. But what they also do too is if you are not currently working, they have a placement program too. So we met with people who are always hiring and always looking as well on what they're asking for. Not only can they do CDLs, but they can do all the endorsements like hazmat and everything else. So it's actually pretty cool that it's coming here. It's been about an 8-month process. And so I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad Casey at Economic Development, like I said, Crit and Mike Brazil has been a huge part of getting it here. So it's exciting. Just something else we can offer people here. The best benefit though, is they will do school bus driving as well too. So they are already, that's gonna be one of their main ones that they do before school starts too. So that's exciting. So that was how my day was spent today. And then the other thing I wanna just invite you all to is the Chamber Mixer next Thursday, May 16th at the Parker Community Center. And Leanne is doing a theme. So it is Speak Easy Roaring 20s. And you need a password to get in there, and it's Open Sesame. So, but I might let you in regardless if you know the password or not. But that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, our next item is the consent agenda, which are considered routine, have been previously reviewed, and can be enacted by one motion. There will be a separate discussion if any council member so requests.
We need to break it up because of the 2 times that we had missing council people.
We should have enough. We should still have a quorum for those, right?
We have a quorum, but,
I'm saying pull those 2 separate.
yeah.
Oh, Lucas and Daniels would mean, no, we would still have a quorum.
Yeah, but they can't vote on it, so.
They could vote on the others. I mean, it doesn't matter, but
You have
Yeah.
to be present at the meeting to be able to vote on it.
Right, so the ones that were absent, like Erica.
So I can't
or
vote on
Lucas,
E. Mhm.
Vote on E.
I see what you're saying, okay. All right, so I'm gonna move that we approve item A, A, C, D, F, G, H, I, and J, which is, item A is Town and Parker meeting minutes, June 21st, 2022. Item C, Town and Parker meeting minutes, July 18th, 2023. Item D, Town and Parker meeting minutes, August 15th, 2023. Item F, special event application, Parker Regional Chamber of Commerce and Tourism for a local bazaar on October 12th, 2024. Special event application, Parker Regional Chamber of Commerce Local Bazaar on November 23rd, 2024. Special event application, Regional Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Local Bazaar. And where are these at?
Western Park.
Okay. December 7th, 2024. Adoption of Chapter 48 of the Parker Police Department Policy and Procedures Handbook, and adoption of Parker Police Department NIBRS policy. What is that?
This is what we have to have
National, I'm just curious.
by DPS.
Institute
Okay.
or something.
second.
All right, so moved and seconded to,
I'm sorry, Mayor, who was the first, please?
Randy.
me.
Randy.
Yeah. So moved and seconded to approve A, C, D, F, G, H, I, and J. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So the other 2 items, we can take those,
No, because Erica can vote on B. I move we accept item B.
Second.
so moved and seconded to approve the minutes from September 27th, 2022. All those in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion, we accept item E.
It's moved and seconded to approve the
Did that?
I did.
I'm sorry, okay.
the meeting minutes from April 16th, 2024. Lucas and Daniels were absent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. All right, regular agenda item 1, discussion and action to approve, deny publication of invitation of bids on the community center roof replacement. Steve Ziegler.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Public Works Department respectfully requests the Mayor and Council to authorize staff to publish the invitation for bids for the community center roof replacement project. The existing roof at the community center has numerous locations that leak. The roof has 3 different roof types, foam, asphalt, and shingle. All of these are overdue for replacement. The project scope will be removing the existing roof down to the plywood decking, replace any damaged plywood, the main portion of the roof over the dining room, conference room, workout area, etc., will have a new TPO roof installed. The existing locations that have shingles will have new shingles installed. See the attached, you should have a attached map of the locations of what gets replaced with what type of roofing material. The ISB will be published May 8th, 2024 on the town website and pipelinesuite.com. It will also be published in the Havasu Herald and Parker Pioneer, May 15th, 22nd, 29th, and June 5th. There's a pre-bid conference scheduled for May 27th, 2024 at 11 a.m. in the council chambers, and the bid opening is scheduled for June 10th, 2024 at 11 a.m. in the council chambers as well. The funding for this project is coming from the FY23-24 capital projects budget for the community center. $123,000 was budgeted for this, and is, if needed, the $28,700 that was budgeted for the community center feasibility study that we did not get to this fiscal year can be used for that purpose as well, for a total of $151,700.
Feasibility study for what?
If you recall back last year, we actually budgeted to do a feasibility on the kitchen expansion.
That's what I was wondering. Okay. They're going to be very sad if that money goes away, but
No, it's actually being budgeted in
since it's for this
budget.
year, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Questions?
Have you been up on the roof, Steve?
Far too many times.
What's your opinion on the plywood? Is there much that's damaged?
In certain sections, it's hard to really tell because it's foamed. But yes, there's definitely locations where we will need to replace some plywood. Staff has actually been prepping the roof. There's a couple of sections at the original location of the community center, which is a really unusual kind of angled portion that splits at like half the kitchen and half the office area. So we've actually had to do some demo over there, but yeah, there could be a significant amount of plywood replacement. Yes, decking.
Okay, thank you. Move to approve.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the publication of invitation for bids on the community center roof replacement. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, discussion and action to approve, deny publication of invitation for bid on the water meter and MXU replacement project. Steve Ziegler.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Public Works Water Department respectfully requests the Mayor and Council to authorize staff to publish the invitation for bids for the water meter and MXU replacement project funded by the WIFA grant. On January 2nd, 2024, staff received a fully executed WIFA grant agreement for 3 projects totaling $1,230,783.63. This is one of the approved projects. The grant will pay for $923,087.72, and the town grant match amount is $307,695.91 for all 3 projects. The water meter and MXU replacement project will help reduce water loss, which on average is approximately 11 million gallons a year. In addition, it will increase the revenue to help maintain and operate the water system. There are 496 mechanical water meters still remaining in the system, which are a source for the water loss because they are no longer accurate. There are 699 first-generation MXUs, and these are actually the radios that actually send the signal to the handheld device as staff is rolling by in the alley that actually tells how much in gallons, how much water that meter has read. That sends a signal to the meter each month. The iPearl smart water meters and Smart Point 520M radios were purchased and have been received by town staff. That was our portion of the $307,000 of that grant, so our grant match for that is already taken care of. The IFB will be published May 8th, 2024 on the town website and online bid site pipelinesuite.com, as well as being published in the Havasu Herald and Parker Pioneer. These are pre-bid conference scheduled for May 27th, 2024 at 10 a.m. and the bid opening is scheduled for June 10th, 2024 at 10 a.m. Staff purchased the iPearl water meters and MXUs already, which satisfies our grant match, which I indicated. So the installation portion of this project will be paid for using the WIFA grant award of the $923,000.
A question. So how many meters did we purchase and how far are we away from doing away with all the mechanical meters?
We'll be done with all the mechanical meters as soon as this project is over. So there's 496 remaining mechanical meters in the system. So we purchased that amount for this project.
Good. Great.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the publication of invitation for bid on the water meter and MXU replacement project. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thanks, Steve. Item 3 is discussion and action to approve, deny intergovernmental agreement between the Colorado River Indian Tribes, Pause County, and the town of Parker regarding law enforcement jurisdiction. The council may vote to discuss this matter in executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.03 A3, 4, and 6, which I would move that we do
Second.
discuss in executive. So moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. All right.
Amy, am I dropping off and then
Yeah.
logging back in?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.